Okay, everyone. Welcome to Blockchain Mondays from Aachen Blockchain Club. So today we are thrilled to host Eugene, who's the COO of Welt der Wunder, and he would uh, present about how they moved from broadcasting to having blockchains and how media licensing content platforms like theirs actually benefited from this. And we can understand the reason why Web3, they adopted Web3 and see how um, real world use cases emerge from this. And before we start, I would like to talk a bit about the Aachen Blockchain Club. So we are a blockchain-focused student initiative at RWTH Aachen since 2022. We are primarily students who are interested in blockchain development, business ideas, community builders, and also just tech nerds as such. Um, our mission is to foster a community of students who are passionate about blockchain. We establish partnerships with the industry, such as, for example, hosting the Blockchain Monday talks like today. We also promote scientific development and educate students in the field of blockchain technology. We also have all of these events hosted for free, and we have several events that happen in person as well as online. We also have tutorials and education workshops that happen throughout the year, both also in person and online, and in different events, sponsored events. Um, so, for example, these are our past Blockchain Monday events that have happened. And if you'd like to know more and keep update with ABC events, here's our link tree to get connected with us on various social media platforms.
Yes, thank you, Ashwin, and thank you, Blockchain Aachen team, for having me today, for inviting me. I'm glad to share today a little bit with you the journey we made with the company Welt der Wunder, coming from a media broadcasting background, transforming into a Web3 company. I'll also give a deep dive into the topic of Metaverse itself. But first of all, let me share with you a little bit about the structure today. So, of course, we need to talk about Web3, and also I'll mention Web4 because this was one of the questions some students asked me during my lecture at university. So this is why I picked this up as well. I want to talk about the Metaverse origins. Where is the topic itself coming from? The name Metaverse, and what were the ideas back then, and what do we have now? I want to share some platforms, some existing platforms, and of course an outlook. Some words to myself. So I'm now since 2013 with the company Welt der Wunder itself. The company itself was founded in 1996. It was a quite successful and well-known TV show, infotainment. So it was always about documentaries about some scientific stuff, industry, knowledge stuff, but always with an entertaining touch in the German speaking area. It was also licensed all over Europe. And when I joined the company 2013, I started also as a TV producer and editor for the science magazine Welt der Wunder. Soon after that, the first transformation happened from a production company to a broadcasting network. So there was opened up a TV station in Germany and in Switzerland. 2016-17, we started our blockchain project called MILC, Media Industry Licensing Content. And I was from the beginning on in some responsible operations there, taking care of developments of partnerships, of of the team, of the blockchain development team. And as you already mentioned, right now I'm the COO. So to give you a little bit more idea about the company itself, 1996, the TV show started. This is the founder and back then the host, Hendrik Hai. Then 2001, of course, we started with online publishing. 2005, together with the Heinrich Bauer Verlag in Hamburg, we published a print magazine, Welt der Wunder, which is also still there. It was a collaboration, a license collaboration. In 2007, there was the first IP distributed live TV show. Now we would maybe laugh about that in times of Twitch, of live streams, of all that. But back then, almost 20 years ago, this was very, very innovative. And as I already mentioned also in my Vita 2013, 2014, the transformation from a production company towards a TV network in Germany and in Switzerland. And 2017, founding of the project MILC, MILC, the Media Industry Licensing Project, which came out of the idea that both our experiences from producing but also from licensing content were some major topics in the whole professional broadcasting world. I mean, you could think of that kind of a Netflix for professionals. So not a B2C, but a B2B product that allows content producers, but also content buyers all over the world to buy and sell professional video content, documentaries, movies, whatever, all over the world, like in an open global marketplace. And this didn't exist back then. And this was the project we started with MILC. And very soon we discovered that the blockchain technology has great advantages when it comes to saving and managing intellectual property, because I mean the IP is the biggest value content creators have. I mean, they are publishing their stuff on different platforms because they are willing to, they want that their content is seen, but the main value is the license, because this is the proof of ownership in our world. And this is, of course, a digital asset that can easily be stored in the blockchain and intellectual property. And this is something that could easily be distributed globally. This is why we decided to go this way, why try to develop a blockchain solution here. And very soon, additionally, we understood, or we were fascinated by the idea of having also a little small own ecosystem supported by an own token, the MLT, the media licensing token. This token allowed us to build a community that in a way we didn't knew before, because the normal way of content consumption and content distribution is pretty one way. You have on the one side the content producers, on the other side you have the content consumers. But create an ecosystem around that allowed us to involve also the audience, involve the community into the whole ecosystem. So we did several actions, like we discussed several ideas with them. Our plan was to create also possibilities to invest with the token into new projects, into new ideas, to participate in the creative process, and also in the whole advertising, in the advertising budget. So this is the project we built with MILC, consisting out of a platform which then developed into a Metaverse platform. I'll describe a bit more about that later, and a token-based marketplace which allowed the customers to buy, sell content, but also gave access to the audience to participate in this ecosystem. As I already mentioned, this was an ongoing development process. I mean, to be very honest, we launched this in the first token launch was around April in 2018, because we lost a lot of time into the whole regulatory process. We launched it in Switzerland together with a partner Swisscom and Swisstext, and we tried to fit the regulatory framework as good as possible, but it didn't really exist like it exists now. We're talking about 7, 8 years earlier. So this is why it took us a lot of time, and we ended up in the bear market of 2018. We then had a relaunch in 2021, a very successful one. And of course, the time taught us a lot more experience. We kept developing the whole stuff in the meantime, but we shouldn't forget there was also COVID in this time. So this was something that pushed the whole digital transformation for us, because we needed to understand how media and broadcast companies can survive into this new field. Because on the one hand, you have the traditional TV sector, which is losing a lot of audience, and with that, a lot of money to social media platforms. On the other hand, there is no real answer for how to handle that. What's the alternative? What's the new product, let's say? And this is why we came into the whole immersive metaverse topic, because the first idea we had was we wanted a fancy interactive website. We didn't know how this would look like. We just had the idea, okay, if we are now launching a product like that into a market of entertainment and media, it can't be a simple two-dimensional shop website or something like that. So this is why we dived into web render technologies, web render engine, and already 2021, just during the announcement of Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and Facebook to rename Facebook into Meta, we launched in November 2021 our own metaverse, which was very, very simple, which didn't look at all like we maybe expected it to look, but it was a three-dimensional website running in the browser, a little city with a cinema, with different other buildings, but it already described a great first idea. And this was a main factor for us into the whole development, because we were kind of stuck a little bit in the whole development. But with this accelerating development of the Web3 technologies, of the main Web3 technologies, beginning with blockchain, then the metaverse topic, then artificial intelligence, like rolled out over the world. And these are also for us the main pillars for this whole transformation, which defined our switch from a traditional broadcasting company into now more or less Web3 media company. That means we still have our TV stations, we still have our classic publishing platform in the web, we still have also the print magazine. But additionally, we built a metaverse, and we continued developing here a lot. We invested a lot of money, and nowadays it's built on Unreal Engine 5. Let me just quickly open it. So this is a live demo. You can enter it directly as a guest in the browser. We are using pixel streaming that allows us to use the latest version of Unreal Engine. So we have the highest possible, highest available quality. And what you see here, I mean, it's running in the browser on different devices, is kind of a city which kind of reflects different aspects of, which covers different aspects of the whole media space. That means you have content parts here, you have entertainment here, you have some games, but you have also e-commerce. And that's kind of our definition of a metaverse. But I will come to this also a little bit later. Now I just wanted to show you, yeah, just briefly what we built. For example, when we are talking about content, new definitions of contents, this is what we mean by that. This is an example with Mark Kane. That's a fashion brand in Germany, a female fashion brand. You see here we have different videos running here. We have avatars. We have also some products here. And if you click on them, then you are directly redirected to a shop. And this is how the whole ecosystem works, in our opinion. We already had some film festivals there. We had some cooperations with other advertising partners there. So we have different kind of entertainment, gamified entertainment stuff. And that's just a brief idea of how it looks right now. Let me switch back to the presentation. Yeah, so as I don't expect everyone to know what Web3 or also what the metaverse topic and all that kind is, I want just to give a brief roundup about the differences between Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, Web 4, and also to give a bit an idea of the timings. So when we are talking about Web 1, it's like the web as we know it from the 1990s, from the early 1990s, where the internet was mainly an accumulation of knowledge, where some centralized institutions, universities, for example, published their first contents there, and users could access them and read, for example, the scientific publications, all that kind of stuff. But the main definition is also this was a read-only experience for the consumers. Consumers weren't able to provide content here. That changes in Web 2. Web 2, that means coming with all the big brands like Google, Facebook. We already had also Yahoo there. We had the rise of the social media platforms. That meant, or YouTube, of course, that meant that now a user could publish their own generated content as well on their platforms. So content publishing was not only reserved to a few centralized institutions, but basically everyone was able to create and to upload content by themselves. So the whole web was added a write functionality, but still it was, or it is very centralized. I mean, we have the big companies like we have Microsoft, we have Meta, we have Google, and basically they are dominating the web, as most of us are using it. Amazon, of course, are using it on a daily basis. And that's what Web3 tries and wants to change. That means entering here a decentralized infrastructure, decentralized and secure network. And how does it enable us to change that? it gives us ownership. So that means when we have published something on all the social media networks and all that kind of stuff, um, there was never been a proof of ownership or transfer of ownership. Um, Here with new technologies, like when we're talking about token cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and all that kind of stuff, we can provide on digital products and on content a proof of ownership, a unique digital ownership. And by doing that, we enable them to have a decentralized marketplace because we can interact in a peer-to-peer way and don't and get independent of centralized structures. Um, that's, for example, also what Bitcoin as one of the biggest and yeah, best known example is doing. You don't need a bank, you don't need a bank account to transfer value. In the example of Bitcoin, you can handle this all by your own, just with an access to the internet. And of course, where there is Web3, there is also Web4, which right now is no really defined, mm, yeah, or there is no definition for the Web4 as it is right now. But the idea of Web4 is that all the technologies from Web3, that means blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Metaverse, are more or less fully developed. That means that we are already living in a spatial computing world. So AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, or XR are part of our daily life. We are not sitting anymore in front of displays. We are not watching on devices like smartphones or tablets, but we have more or less somehow integrated immersive devices, might be glasses, might be lenses, whatever. And also the interfaces change. So we don't have the keyboard or the mouse, but we have voice commands. We have artificial intelligence that's listening, that's responding, that's making its own decisions by generating and evaluating data. So we have IoT, we have the Internet of Things that means machines are interacting independent from human control with each other. Um, I don't know. Ashwin, you also could ask questions right here if you have any, maybe. So feel free also to interrupt me anytime because otherwise I'm just running through the slides and maybe at some points I'm not going into the details, so it might be confusing. So feel free to interrupt me.
Sure. Actually, we have a question from the audience.
All right.
So, Dali asks, what is your perspective on the UX? So, he feels that it is easier to click on buttons and navigate a website instead of actually walking through a virtual world.
Yeah, definitely. When we are talking about walking, so if you have the idea of walking, like in our example with an avatar, that's definitely not the only way and not the right way for a lot of people to navigate through a website. This is more or less for a special case when you have maybe some gamified parts there. But for us as storytellers, as entertainers, the third dimension gives um, a lot more options to interact with the audience because normally all the content we produced was pretty linear. Like a video is linear. You can stop it and then you press play and you can just watch it, but there is no way to, for example, interrupt the whole storyline and maybe give it into another direction. Or for example, when we had a documentary about maybe Japan and samurai and all that kind of stuff, it was not able to stop the story here and maybe discover more of the village we have covered maybe in this documentary. And this is the main idea where we could jump in the third dimension. So just imagine you're watching a documentary, and then there is this castle, and then you have the choice, maybe if you want, now you can stop the movie or you can stop the documentary and discover the castle by, for example, putting on your VR device or something like that, and then looking around. So I think the possibilities here are endless, but the Dali was very right with the question. The interface, the controls, of course, must be as simple as possible and must really fit with the need and with the target group, because maybe people who grew up with gaming, like me, there is no problem with understanding how to navigate with a mouse and a keyboard, but it also should be possible only to navigate with the mouse, like people know it from normal websites, or even navigate maybe with support of an artificial intelligence and just voice-based. For example, when you're discovering a new city, or you're saying, okay, I want to go to the city, and maybe there could be an kind of a digital twin from this city, and an avatar guides you and tells you when you arrive here at the train station, then you should use this exit. That's the fastest way to get to the main place, or maybe to get to your hotel or something like that. So I think, again, the possibilities also of navigation here are, yeah, way more. Yeah, but it's a very good question. We
It
shouldn't
also
mix
makes it
it.
more realistic.
Yes, and we shouldn't mix it with games. Otherwise, people will always be like a bit skeptic about that, because they will say, "But it's a game." But it uses a lot of gamified, yeah, features, but it shouldn't be a game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just to the Web 4, the symbiotic web. As I said, the technologies we are talking about right now, AI, machine-to-machine communication or human-to-machine communication, interaction, are seen as fully developed in this spatial computing and context awareness. I mean, we are not that far away already from all that. If you are watching your phone, for example, routines you have are already understood by your phone. For example, when you're getting in the car in the evening and driving home, or maybe on a certain day, you drive to the sports gym or something like that, your phone, your device already recognizes this and gives you suggestions of the best route you take, maybe, or the time till you arrive to the destination. This is what context awareness is. This is what kind of seamless human-machine interaction is. Then, of course, added with more, yeah, with more interfaces, like the voice interface, or more visual interfaces, or even yeah, maybe directly connected somehow to the brain. Mm, let's get back to the topic of metaverse itself. I don't know if this is already now kind of common knowledge or something like that, but the word itself was not found by Mark Zuckerberg, but it's already from a book from 1992. The title is Snow Crash. The writer is Neil Stephenson's, and actually, it's a very nice, very cool science fiction book, and there he mentions the metaverse, and basically, this this idea, this vision of what a parallel virtual world could look like and could provide is very similar to the understanding we have today, 30 years later, more than 30 years later, as a concept of a metaverse. So the main difference is it's also to a game is that it is a persistent digital world that's not following like pre-scripted, like in a game, rules or a storyline, but is based on human interaction and influence. And yeah, this is obviously also why we see here a lot of parallels also to um, metaverse developments and examples we have there right now. So anyone who's interested in science fiction, I really can recommend reading Snow Crash. Always when you're talking about metaverse or this kind of digital parallel worlds, often Second Life is mentioned. I don't know if you ever heard about that. It was a project that's going back already almost 20 years. I think it was 2005 when Second Life, 2003, when Second Life was launched. Basically, it was exactly what we would define nowadays as a metaverse. It was a closed world. It had its own currency, the Linden dollar, and it provided actually, parallels to the real life. They had a virtual economy. You were able to create, to trade user-generated content. So not only content in the meaning of videos or pictures, something like that, but you really could buy and sell virtual assets. The only thing you couldn't do was also selling the Linden dollar. So once have been in this economy, you weren't able to get out of that. But it's absolutely true. It's not an absolutely new idea. There has been an idea already 20 years ago, and also different other examples. But I think Second Life is the most prominent one. Um, in in its best times, over 1.7 million active users were registered in Second Life, and more. Yeah, I mean there were brands were buying and presenting their stuff, and it was a very it was a very innovative audience there and community kind of also. Of course, there have been built some elite clubs and all that kind of stuff because it was quite expensive to be part of this community. But also people very soon understood it's missing a lot. It was a very closed economy. It was a very closed community, and the openness of the web itself was missing. So this is why the hype only survived a few years. What did modern metaverses now learn from this? One of the biggest differences right now is that the modern metaverses are already providing cryptocurrencies. That means it's not only able to buy the currency itself you're using there, but it's also able to sell it and to get back fiat money in exchange for this virtual cryptocurrency. The metaverses also have a more clear value proposition, what people can expect there, what maybe less, even if, examples like Decentraland may be a bit, less defined here, but they are focusing a lot of user experiences, and they are pushing a lot into creator economy because this is what we learned from social media. This is the most important value these communities have. Mm, when we are talking about modern metaverses, then I just picked up four of one of the biggest. On the left side is Decentraland. Decentraland became very, very famous because they were following a similar approach like Second Life. You could also um, acquire here digital assets like properties, for example. They were selling digital land, it was limited via their own token. We have Sandbox, which is a bit more game focused, same as Roblox. And we have Horizon Worlds, which is the product from Meta. Um, I think Decentraland is one of the most Web3-atic metaverses because nowadays it's governed by its own DAO. They are purely blockchain based with their assets, also with their currency. And also the community is very, very into the whole blockchain field, and it's less and yeah, it's less about gaming and it's less about um, this younger communities. And I think it got a lot of fame when big brands, big companies were spending several millions to acquire land there. We have Sandbox, which is voxel based. That also means that the resolution there is, as you can see it up here in the picture, it's very yeah, you see kind of cubic pixel characters and also the building there, but that's kind of the character of itself. Um, it provides an easy editing tool, so it's quite easy for creators to build their own experiences there. Within these digital assets that the creators are providing, they have built their own NFT marketplace as well. And yeah, they are focusing a lot also proactive for their own fund into this creator economy. Um, Roblox is the biggest metaverse when it comes to daily active users, but it's actually mainly also all game-based. Nevertheless, Roblox is also the example which still attracts and which has, I think, the most companies and different brand expressions in their own worlds. Like brands like Nike, but also not just fashion brands are there, but also banks, also yeah, like maybe not so gamey gaming clothes brands, but they are reaching their very young audience, and this is why a lot of brands, yeah, try to get there, try to be there very early, and try to be close to the communities there. But I mean, as you also can see, Roblox is already quite an old and established platform, let's say, before the whole hype around metaverse came up. Um, yeah, this is just a small overview as well on that. Also, when it comes to how decentralized are the different platforms, um, Decentraland, in my opinion, has the highest level of decentralization. Roblox, a very low one. Sandbox, yeah, is somewhere in the midfield, in my opinion. Let's talk about also Meta and the metaverse. So the announcement and the presentation Mark Zuckerberg gave in 2021, you can watch it online. It's still there on YouTube, the metaverse and how we build it. Here is a summary on the video, and um, let's just watch it shortly. I don't know if I activate the sound. Yeah.
No, we don't get the sound.
Pardon?
No, we don't get the sound.
Ah, okay. yeah, no matter. I mean, the sound is not that important. It's more about also the visuals, because as you can see here, the real world and the immersive, the virtual world are yeah, emerging seamlessly. And this is what was kind of promised the people looking at that. But sadly, this was more an Hollywood production, let's say, than what we would call an in-game um, recording. So this would be nice to have, would be amazing, but that's not really how it looked like. It looked, yeah, way worse. We only had some kind of figures running around, we know from the Nintendo Wii maybe. So there was a big hype, of course, when such a company renames itself, but the delusion came very fast and very hard because, yeah, you can see it here in the picture. This is what people got. Like, you still have a very heavy, very big hardware, and you have, yeah, only few percents of what was promised when it comes to quality and all that kind of stuff to experience. Yeah,
That shows how hard it is to get into this market, right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the the projection was there and the promises were made, but that was impossible to make it happen with the existing technology. Same 2000. Right now. We are making huge steps. I mean, artificial intelligence can and will support here a lot, definitely. But for now, it's still, yeah, science fiction also for us to reach this level of seamless interactivity and integration. Nevertheless, it gives us an idea of how this works. And if you're looking in other examples in industrial metaverses, when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to collaborating, parts of it are already there. And yeah, Meta didn't continue the journey as they started. I mean, first they announced kind of a budget of $3 billion, something like that, to invest into this space. But it's not only about money, but it's just also about experience. It's about the existing technology we have. So users um, hardly adopted it or hardly went this way because it was connected to especially the hardware. And yeah, this is why they stopped the development. Still now they have on the glasses on their VR devices, they have the Meta Horizon worlds. Mm, I already mentioned also the industrial metaverse, and it's very important to differentiate here because, as far as I oversee the market, the industrial metaverse is way more ahead than the consumer metaverse. So, consumer metaverse is what I was showing before, like our interpretation of this with the MILC metaverse, Decentraland, or Roblox or Sandbox or Horizon Worlds. This is all about some entertainment, some fun, some social networking, maybe some e-commerce. But industrial metaverse here. It's really about efficiency. It's about productivity. It's about business applications. It's about collaborations. And here the demands are way bigger, and also the return of invest comes way faster. And this is why here the technology and the examples are more ahead. So yeah, I already talked about the key facts, features of the consumer metaverse, so entertainment, and what differentiates the industrial metaverse. And actually, I want to show you directly um, one of the examples we have here with Siemens and NVIDIA, how they define. Also, the sound is not really important, but this is a platform built together with Siemens and NVIDIA. There is also something very similar built together with BMW. What we see here is really a virtual production plant, but it's not just a video, but this is really how these production plants are nowadays planned and built, and also to give the people immediately the opportunity to play around with it. Like you could position, like you see here, people right at the places where they will work in the future and train them already. You can let people walk around there and define maybe some dangerous spots, for example. You can in real time interact with machines and then change processes. And this saves a lot of money if you can do all this stuff in advance before having it built in real life. Um, yeah,
This is
this is the
already in use
yes, this
with
is already
companies
in
like.
use. BMW,
I
like you see here, for example. Here is the example with BMW, and they also planned and realized their home production, the production plant together with NVIDIA, what NVIDIA calls Omniverse. I mean, of course, nowadays these big companies, they are acting all over the world. They have employees all over the world. So the place to unite them, to guide them, to train them is the virtual space, at least, however you call it, if you call it a metaverse or not. But what it makes the metaverse is when you can seamlessly dive in, for example, into production plans and guide them through. And this is something where it might be useful to have a navigation with an avatar, for example, because you can tell the people you should walk here and not here. Here's dangerous. Here are robots moving and all the kind of stuff, right? Mm, yeah, so these are examples that are already there where people in real life can interact and collaborate on different um, process steps. Yeah, so that's already there.
Is it
That
also
was.
true in the general
Mhm.
education scene? So, for example, schooling and colleges and so on, where you could probably also learn. So,
Yes,
what we call here as Ausbildung, for example.
yes. So there is of course a big part also in medicine, for example, because I mean in the end, doctors need to cut through stuff. They need to get an understanding of the human body, and that's not always so easy to get these bodies, let's say. And doing this in a virtual environment gives at least an additional option to do that. But where it's also used very often is in remote maintenance cases, like you have on oil rigs, like you have maybe on construction sites that are very hard to access when it's in tough environments. I don't know, in on high mountains or something like that. You can't always send your engineers maybe to support issues there, but you can guide the people with AR devices, so people are seeing what you see, and you can guide them in real time through maybe a maintenance process. Also, nowadays, it's used in museums. I mean, museums already have multimedia contents. They already have videos running there. They already have some kind of animations, and now they can integrate it. There's also a just recent example. Um, I don't know if I can find it, but from the Deutsches Museum in Munich. I think they built it with Akameo together. Um, yeah, it must be. this one maybe. So you have different experiences for sure there, which are working with yeah, a very similar technology, at least immersive technologies, where you can combine objects, old objects, like if you have the submarine there, you have the real submarine there, then you can let people enter the submarine or maybe see it underwater in an immersive environment. Yeah, so there are already a lot of examples. And I think the moment we can talk about a metaverse is when we are finding a way to unite all that, to make all that accessible. But let me just finish that and then we can discuss about maybe, yeah, about how I define that, because here I already have yeah, some additional examples. As I told you, healthcare, for example. I mean, this could be very cool also having at home if someone tells you, I have pain there, and you could put on some glasses and help maybe your partner or whoever it is. Tell him, okay, show me where the pain is exactly, and the glasses can tell you where maybe the pain comes from, because often it's not where it hurts, but maybe if it hurts in the knee, then maybe you have an issue in, I don't know, in the hip or somewhere else, right? Um, for educational, for feedback sessions, it's already in use, like when people are struggling or when they are preparing to make presentations to an audience in the public. It gives you real-time feedback regarding your voice, regarding your vocabulary, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there is already a lot of stuff going on, but still we are seeing a growing market here. Um, yeah, what are the future trends? Of course, we will see more and more AI integration, no matter when it comes to applications, when it comes to additional features, or also when it comes just to making this all happen, because we need to create very easy to access and also cheaper technologies. We definitely need interoperability standards. This is what I mentioned when I said, in my opinion, a metaverse is like the web. The web has the HTTPS, the hypertransfer text protocol, and we need something similar for the virtual worlds. Actually, we already published with a partner together with a professor the HWTP, like the Hyperworld Transfer Protocol. This was our idea of the, yeah, tech backbone when it comes to making the interoperability happen here, maybe. And yeah, of course, we will see the hardware also developing in great steps, same as it happened for laptops, same as it happened for smartphones and any other device. We will face definitely other challenges. We will face ethical challenges. We will face legal challenges. I mean, there are already cases when it comes to sexual harassment, for example, in metaverses. All the problems we are having right now in social media and the web itself, hate speech and all that. Of course, this won't stop in the metaverse. But here we will also need like maybe an AI police to discover this in time and to find mechanisms um, to block that. And of course, we also need regulatory certainty, because otherwise companies don't know what they can do, what they are allowed to do, what they should do, or what they shouldn't do. Still, I see a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes to accessibility, especially when it comes to public services. For example, we are living in a multicultural world. We are living in a globalized world. So that means all the critical infrastructure should be accessible without the need of a certain language, for example, or with a special, experience in something that, you should have known this or that. But I think this is where these technologies can help us a lot, because the moment we are not forced to like read through endless pages on the website to guide through these horrible navigations, but maybe to have here a virtual person to talk to, and this person guides us, takes us by the hand and guides us through the processes. I'm convinced that we can eliminate uh, most of the horrible experiences we are dealing right now in administration. And I mean, we already see this in the private sector. Um, the company or the product with the best access normally wins. This is why apps are working, because apps normally provide a few functionalities. Apps shouldn't provide too much functionality, because people are not used to this. It should be simple, it should be fast, it should just work and give me um, my response. And I think this is what we can reach when it comes to make the web accessible to a broader audience, to democratize here. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, no, I rushed a bit through the rest of the presentation, but I also didn't want to make it too long. Just yeah, so my conclusion from that, where we are standing right now, to be very honest, the whole metaverse topic stopped a bit, because we had so many hype cycles, and nobody wants to talk about the metaverse itself. But what we see is a lot of cool immersive solutions, be it in the educational sector, or in the professional, in the B2B sector, in the maintenance sector. So even if people maybe are not using the term of metaverse, but the idea behind that, the different features are definitely evolving out there. And maybe at some point, maybe it's kind of the evolution and development of the internet, of the web itself. I mean, when we are looking back 60, 70 years, when the idea of the internet came, nobody would have thought that we will check for our next holidays, maybe where we go, that we book our travel, our trips there, that we order food through the website, that we find our partner, that we are that cinemas are, no one is going anymore to the cinema, or less people go to the cinema because they are accessing all the content they want on the web, and a lot of knowledge. Nobody could have imagined this in the beginnings of the internet, but things had to come together on the software side and also on the hardware side. Like smartphones gave again a huge push into this, the development of application, of apps. And I think this is the same that needs to happen here. Then at some point we will talk about an more or less united, or maybe about several metaverses. Maybe they will be united by a big omniverse or whatever, or we will have several miniverses. However, I think these are the behavior in the metaverse, the experience is so close to what our natural behavior is, that we can look around, we can use the senses. We don't just have to read, and we can interact with things. This is what I think motivates us way more than the way of using the internet right now. So this is why I'm absolutely convinced that we will see more and more coming up here. But it's still on a pioneer status right now, definitely.
I mean, even AI had its great dark winters, right? So it took a lot of times and a
Already,
lot of cycles
absolutely.
to actually finally now have a breakthrough that
Yes,
really amazes everyone.
absolutely. And also within AI, we saw so many ups and downs because it's the same with blockchain. Like we actually with blockchain and cryptocurrencies as well. We had a lot of blockchain stuff, and everyone was writing, "Yeah, I have the new blockchain idea," but blockchain isn't necessarily replacing everything. It's not the best solution for everything, definitely not. And it's the same. I don't need endless AI solutions or LLMs, but what's popping up right now are agents. That's what we need. That are the applications, in my opinion, in the AI world, because I need to have one agent to for recipes, for example, maybe, and another one to guide me through my holidays, and the other one for my work. So I need specified, specialized agents. And I mean, it might be that in the end, there is the same large language model working in the
Powering them.
background, but I'm, as a user, I need an easy to understand and easy to handle interface, right?
So I was just wondering also if you plan to use AI also within your metaverses application. Um,
Yeah. So I think this, yeah, this will be one of the major next steps that you will have avatars there. And for me, this is kind of an way to bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 because avatars, I mean, we all know chatbots already, and avatars are just chatbots with a face more or less. But this already shows us the advantages of an immersive experience here. What the difference is between writing in a text box, or being able to talk to someone or something, however you call it. And I think with this experience, people can grow more confidence than to complete immersive worlds, let's say, or rooms. Yeah, but the avatars can be a very good bridge here. I
is
don't,
there
yeah.
then a timeline as to when you would see these products roll out for general availability for people?
Um, I see a lot of stuff in development or in single products already. I think I think also here there must be the point of kind of maybe also a selection of finding the best practice here, and then we will see it in a mass adoption. But right now it's still in kind of a special interest sector. But I'd say it will take way less than 5 years, and maybe 2 years, something like that, 2 to 3 years. But I think we will see them really fast because they really can address um, problems and challenges we are having right now. Yeah,
I see. And I suppose that being already a traditional media company helps you with being able to have partnerships for the metaverse as well, I suppose, right?
absolutely. Yeah. And I think it helps us to understand that it's not about technology, but it's about the audience out there. Because even if you are shooting a video in 8K, for example, it doesn't make a boring video better. It's still all about the content and the story you're telling. So storytelling becomes number one, or still will be number one priority, independent from the technology. So the technology is just as good as the use case and the people that are using it.
Then I would like to thank Eugene again for the wonderful presentation and for your time.
Thank
Um,
you.
thanks a lot.